Proximity tourism, geographical proximity. As we've mentioned in the previous video, one of the major advantages of proximity tourism is that it's a sustainable alternative to traditional long-distance tourism. Proximity tourism is also known as staycation, and it's a practice that consists in traveling close to one's daily environment. The traveler can rediscover a place in a different way by organizing various tourist activities, living unusual experiences and responding to a need for a break from everyday life while remaining in an environment not so far from home. It is about turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. A key element is the realization that traveling close to our home base is equally valuable and rewarding as distant tourism experiences. In this case, the tourist is already more or less familiar with the environment, and it can be difficult to surprise him. This is why the valorization of the destinations can seem difficult. It is important to know how to highlight the assets of the visited area in an original way in order to capture the attention of the proximity traveler. Environmental sustainability and proximity tourism. The rising number of tourists now accounts for nearly 60% of air travel, and emissions from transport are one of the main causes of greenhouse gas air pollution. In light of climate change, we need to rethink our ways of traveling. It is well known that taking a flight generates more carbon emissions than an average person in many countries around the world produces in a whole year. When a tourist travels a short distance to a local destination by car, that means significantly reduced air pollution compared to traveling to another country by plane, for example. Proximity tourism means we travel less, we use less transportation, more sustainable means of travel, and thus we reduce our ecological footprint. At the same time, proximity tourism is relying on small enterprises offering services based on the local natural and cultural heritage. Tourists are dispersed, and it's less likely to generate overcrowding or put high pressure on the capacity of a certain environment. Financial sustainability and proximity tourism. Sustainability tells us to look for balance between environmental, social, and economic aspects. Proximity tourism, besides being a more sustainable alternative for the environment, also means new development opportunities for tourism companies. During the pandemic, they were forced to diversify their tourism offer, and for many, proximity tourism turned out to be the solution to remain in business. Despite the travel limitations, people still needed the tourist experience, and exploring a place nearby for a few days, being close to nature, has become one of the most attractive options. It was the time of small enterprises that are deeply rooted in the tourism destination of those companies that offer ecotourism products or products based on the local natural and cultural heritage. They did not contribute to overcrowding and offered high-quality experiences for tourists. This helped many of them survive the challenging period. Those that took the chance and directed their marketing towards the potential tourists from their own region were more likely to stay in business during the pandemic. This was also the opportunity for tourists and tourism companies to become aware of the fact that traveling close to home is equally valuable and rewarding as distant tourism experiences. It was a time when it became quite clear that there is potential in proximity tourism, and it can contribute to financial sustainability of tourism SMEs. Now that the travel restrictions have been lifted, tourism companies face a new challenge. The proximity tourism services are competing with the long-distance travel opportunities available on the market. In the current circumstances, one might ask the question if proximity tourism was a solution only during the pandemic, or it's a viable route on long term. Providing tourism services for both foreign and local tourists is probably the most viable route for many tourism SMEs. This would mean dividing their target market into two segments, long-distance and proximity tourism, in order to target each of these with different messages and even different tourism services. If tourism companies can segment their markets into the two categories, they can diversify and expand their portfolio of customers, avoiding dependence on only one category of tourists whose wants and needs may change. With multi-segment marketing, they are better able to withstand demand fluctuation in one category of tourists if the other category is trading upwards. In this way, companies can reduce their risk and will have the ability to adapt to the change of the tourism market and demand and have a competitive advantage. The two tourist categories can be quite different and do require a different approach with a personalized message. Proximity visitors have a better knowledge of the socio-cultural environment and therefore a greater demand for quality services and products. They are looking for a wide variety of destinations and activities, less congestion, and the offer of products and services must be very varied to meet this demand. As destinations are closer, land transport is more widely used, the cost of travel is lower, and this allows the different groups of the population to be able to travel. The combination of these characteristics means that the social composition of tourists is much broader and diversity brings different types of demands. Proximity tourism is less geographically concentrated and better distributed over a certain territory. The daily costs are lower than for international tourism, and the effect of buying from locals allows for real regional development and economic growth of communities. Proximity tourism can contribute to innovation in the development of new destinations and new tourism services. It can also contribute to eliminating local poverty, generate employment and economic growth, upgrade infrastructure, and alleviate pressure from overcrowding. It can help address seasonality within regions while also dispersing tourists to less visited rural areas, which tend to be overlooked by foreign visitors. Overall, proximity tourism increases the income security of tourism companies by reducing the reliance on inbound visitors and reducing the exposure to international events, crises, and security issues. It also increases the hospitality market size and the income from residents. In the next video, we will take a look at the strategies that tourism companies can apply to develop proximity tourism.